Hello YouTube, it's Tom Driver, and this is going to be a video of the second iteration of Drive. Now back in the summer of 2016, after I finished with the big three, I wanted to automatically track the weight and reps using some sort of hardware. So I built a little prototype that would send the weight and reps automatically to a script that was very similar than the big three. Now I don't actually have this script, so if you haven't seen the big three video, please take a second and go back and watch that, because it's essentially the same thing, but instead of those three exercises, there's about 10 different ones that you could use with a cable machine, and you just basically hit a command that starts recording the exercise. Then the hardware is going to send that data to the script, and it's going to save it and give you points kind of in the same manner that the big three did. So without further ado, here are some images and a diagram of the hardware I built. In order to track the weight and reps, I use a sensor called an ultrasonic range sensor. And the way this sensor works is it basically sends a signal out, and that signal is going to bounce off an object back to the sensor, and that's going to let the sensor know how far away something is from it. So all the sensor does is it just reads how far away an object is from the sensor. And I use this sensor to then figure out, okay, what weight level the machine is set to. And then as the machine moves up and down, when it moves, it also counts the reps that it's doing. So this sensor doesn't work on its own. I also needed to use something called an Arduino Uno. This is essentially just a little computer processor that the sensor you can connect it to, and that'll power the sensor. And it also allows you to upload code to the processor that then can make sense of the signals that the sensor is reading. So this is a little example of an Arduino code. Might be a little bit hard for you to see, but essentially it's just a little terminal where you can upload code to the Arduino. In this case, I was probably able to find some code online that matched up with the ultra range sensor. And then once you upload that to the Arduino, then the ultra range sensor is able to read in the amount of distance an object is from it, and you'll just get a constant stream of how many centimeters away a certain object is. So how did I use the distance to actually track the weight and reps that you're doing in a workout? What I did is I essentially placed the ultrasonic range sensor at the base of the exercise equipment. I connected that to our Arduino, which is also hardwired right up to my computer. Then I taped, this is just a note card. Now in this diagram, the note card looks like it's facing you, but I actually taped it to the peg where you choose your weight, and the note card was parallel to the floor. And this allows for the ultrasonic range sensor to send a signal up to the note card, bounce back off it, and know exactly the distance that the note card is away from the sensor. So what I did is I essentially plugged the note card with the peg into every single different weight setting on the machine, and recorded exactly how far away the note card was from the ultrasonic range sensor, and then was able to determine what weight setting it's on. So for instance, perhaps at the 80-pound level, the ultrasonic range sensor was 10 centimeters away. Then my program would know, okay, every time he starts working out and it's 10 centimeters away, then we're on 80 pounds. Then a little bit harder part was to figure out how many reps you did in a workout. So the ultrasonic range sensor, it essentially just would send you a stream, right, of numbers, and you would, start the program so it started recording all those numbers. And as you move up and down, right, from the first to second image, you're going to get a set of values streaming in like this. And then every single time that the program notices you're going up, right, so from here you're going 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, then you're going down to 16, 14. When it sees that change, right, in values as it's growing from positive to negative, then it counts that as one rep. So I showed a little diagram here of just waves. Obviously at the bottom here, you're going up from 10 to 18. And then as you drip back down into a negative value, this little peak right here, it's going to count that as a rep. So yeah, my prototype worked decently well. It wasn't perfect, but I was able to use just range, right, to know exactly how many weights I'm doing. And then it wasn't 100% accurate, but I was able to then track how many reps you were doing based on that change in range. So there were some issues with this prototype. The main one being that the note card itself needed to stay exactly perpendicular to the ground in order for the ultrasonic range sensor to accurately capture the amount of distance. So if you were working out really fast and the note card started slipping, right, it wasn't exactly parallel, then it wouldn't be able to track the distance. And when I worked out very slowly, it would work almost with 100% accuracy. But I started messing around with like a more sturdy version to attach to the peg instead of a note card. And I realized I was sinking way too much time into this prototype that might not be the best method of tracking your workouts. So I did a little bit of research, and online it turned out there was a couple other people who were building a little bit better prototypes than I was. And this whole time I do want to invent both sides, the hardware and the software. But I realized what's going to make my product unique is the gamification aspects, right? The levels, the point systems, all that stuff. So at this point I decided, okay, I need to pick an avenue, or else I'm just going to have an average software and an average hardware, and I might not be the best at either one, right? So I decided to focus all of my energies back into software, so that I could, actually bring this game to life. And then down the line, maybe I would, work with a different hardware company, which I did do at one point. Or, I would invent the hardware, once the game is kind of perfected, all the kinks are worked out, and I felt comfortable, with the software. So yeah, I'm glad that I built the hardware. I learned a lot. It was good just to see for my own eyes. Okay, this is possible. In a couple weeks, I was able to grab the weight and reps off of this machine, without inputting it myself. But I wanted to focus then on software, and so from here on out, it's mostly just been software iterations since this one. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.